Well, let's talk about the sorry things happening in Washington. Right now, we have Joe Biden running our country. We have Kamala Harris, who's supposed to be in charge of the border and hasn't been there yet. But she'll talk to the Mexican president about a landscaping project, planting trees down there because they need to worry about climate justice and that's somehow going to stop all the migrants. I mean, the illegal aliens from invading our country. What happened to worrying about the children in cages? Does the Biden administration and the Democrats not worry about children in cages anymore? Do they not care about drug trafficking, human trafficking? No, they're in business of helping the cartels. The cartels love the Democrats. Yeah, they're down there, they're like this. They're like, we're making a lot of money off of Biden, Joe Biden. That's my really bad Mexican accent. Oh, they love him. They love him. They are raking it in, helping people invade our country. You know, Joe Biden has a new policy. It's called sanctuary country. Do you all think America is supposed to be a sanctuary country for illegal aliens? No, absolutely not. No, you want to know what's happened to ICE? You see, the Democrats, they have something they love to do to men. They want to take away their masculinity, right? Well, the Democrats want to do the same thing with law enforcement. They want to do the same thing to ICE, and they want to do the same thing to our military. So ICE, under the Trump administration, used to arrest an average of 9,000 illegal aliens a month. Do you want to know what it's dropped to under Joe Biden's ICE? It's dropped down to an average of one every 2 months. They get arrested and deported. ICE agents say that they do not have the support and the backup of the new administration to make these arrests and deport people that are breaking our laws and entering our country. No, as a matter of fact, Joe Biden is welcoming them in. And that's why Kamala Harris has no need to go to the border. They want them in here. Now let's talk about our military. God bless our military. Thank you to every veteran in this room that has served. Thank you to every veteran that is watching this rally. I've never talked to a veteran that said he signed up to serve our country so that America could become a socialist nation. Never. As a matter of fact, they served to protect our Constitution, protect our freedoms, protect our borders, and protect our American way of life. But Joe Biden has a different plan, and it's happening. He wants a woke military. That's right. As a matter of fact, he has certain people in charge of purging the extremists out of the military. Extremist, can you imagine? It's ridiculous. So they have people in charge, believe it or not, that are actually more Islamic terrorist sympathizers that are in charge of purging our military. This is actually happening, everyone. These are people that have been to activist events, have been involved in organizations, have been apologists for Islamic terror attacks, have been apologists for Hamas, people that said the Muslim Brotherhood should not be called a terrorist organization. These are the people that Joe Biden has purging our military of extremists. That's how woke they are. It's disgusting. In a matter of months, our country is spiraling out of control. You know how much gas was right after November 3rd around here? $1.77. What are you people paying for gas now? Yeah, you're paying close to around $3. It's coming up there. In a matter of months, inflation is happening. How many small business owners do we have in the room here tonight? Oh, yeah. God bless you. It's hard to be a small business owner. See, this is what people don't understand about America is most of the businesses in our country are small businesses. And small businesses, being a small business owner is living the American dream. It's the most amazing thing you can do. It's the hardest thing you can do. And they employ many, many people. And small business owners see their employees like family. They love them and appreciate them. They invest time in them and they need them. But right now with the Joe Biden administration and their stimulus checks paying people to stay home, you want to know what the problem is? Nobody can find anyone to come to work. No one wants to go to work. Why? Because you can sit home in your pajamas all day, scrolling on social media or hanging out or doing whatever you want, and you can collect a check. Why would you go to work? You see, socialism is already failing. That is really sad. So what is happening to our economy? People can't hire people to come back to work. You know what else? We're at a point right now where we are in a deficit of 90,000 truck drivers from the number we were in a deficit this time last year. Truck drivers are incredible people. If you're a truck driver, God bless you. You're so great. You deliver goods and supplies all over this country. We need truck drivers, and we're in a shortage. So at a time right now where businesses already can't find workers, our supplies are in a shortage because you want to know what happens? If you own a manufacturing company, like here in Dalton, what do we make? Flooring, carpet. But guess what? We need people to work. And that means if you don't have people to work, you can't make your goods and supplies as fast as you normally should be able to because you're competing with the federal government. Private businesses shouldn't have to compete with the federal government. I think the government's out of place, don't you? So you know what that means? That means there's a shortage of goods and supplies, and that means inflation is happening. See, we're having a little business class CNN. I hope you're airing this one. You've trained people to hate so much, they've lost their common sense. So when inflation starts happening, that means prices go up. Things cost more money. And it's a problem. This hurts our economy. So we're at a shortage of workers. We're at a shortage of supplies. But you know what's happening? That federal government paycheck just keeps on rolling out, doesn't it? Yeah, there's supposedly an end in sight. But you know what the Democrats want? They would love for them to be able to just keep handing out paychecks to everyone, government checks. You see, they want socialism. They want socialism really, really bad. You know, they spent 4 years, some of these folks back here on this platform, 4 years calling Republicans Nazis. Yeah, remember that? How many times have you seen it? Nazis. That's a mean, nasty, dirty word. And what did they call President Trump? Hitler. That's right. He's one of the most evil men to ever walk this earth. But that's what they called our president. Yes, he is the best president ever. And you know what? We're bringing him back. That's right, we're bringing them back. You know, Nazis were the National Socialist Party, just like the Democrats are now a National Socialist Party. They have a little group in the Democrat Party that I work with in Congress. Some lovely ladies. I call them the Jihad Squad. And lately, they have really earned their name. You see, while Hamas was sending rockets into Israel, right? Because apparently that's what they do. They do it over and over again. You know, and Iran gives them $30 million a month. Did you know that? $30 million a month so that they can attack Israel. Well, you know, we had members of the Jihad Squad saying, shame on Israel for defending themselves. How about that? Yeah, the Jihad Squad, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and the rest of the gang, they support BDS, which hurts Israel's economy. They want to boycott their goods. That's what our United States members of Congress support, hurting Israel's economy. They support Hamas, bombing Israel. You know what else they support? Antifa, BLM, thugs, domestic terrorists fighting our people, burning our cities, attacking our police officers. That's who they support. So we have actual United States members of Congress, the Jihad Squad. There's a big group of them, by the way. It's not just a couple that support terrorism abroad and terrorism at home. You know what I think about that? And let me ask you guys how you feel about it. I think they should be expelled if they are supporting terrorism. CNN is fact-checking me right now. They're like, it's a spectacle. They also want to defund the police. Yeah. You know, the Democrats, the same members of Congress that were so outraged and that's all they can talk about is the January 6th Capitol riot. You know, and they are constantly talking about defunding the police. And they have bills and they vote for it and pass legislation to hurt police officers, take away their funding, make it difficult for them to do the job, open it up so they can be sued and so their names can be put on a public list, a list that people could look up and target them, whether it's verified or not that they even belong on this list. Yeah, that's the Democrats. But when they get scared, guess who they call? The police. You can't even make that up, right? Maybe they should call a social worker. That's really what they want, social workers to replace police officers. I think they should call a social worker. Yeah, call BLM. That's a good one. I'm sure they'd show up. You know, BLM is funded on their Act Blue fundraising platform. If you want to donate to Black Lives Matter, go to Act Blue to the Democrat Party fundraising platform. How about that? Well, you know, as a business owner, I really believe in capitalism, and I believe in making a profit, not a loss. And I think that's what Congress should be doing. How about you all? No, but we're coming up on nearly $30 trillion in debt. How many small business owners think you could survive with debt like that? You can't. Joe Biden wants to raise your taxes. You know what he wants to do? He wants to pass capital gains taxes and raise them through the roof. He also wants to raise death taxes, and then they want to tell everybody, oh, that's only for the rich people. But you want to know how it affects everyone? It hurts you, and I'll tell you why. They want to stop the transfer of generational wealth. When that happens, guess what? That means a lot more people will become dependent on the government, which is exactly what the Democrats want. Their policies are going to ruin our country. And you see, I know this so well that I decided, you know, I think America deserves to hear about the Green New Deal. Yeah. So I went to the author of the person that introduced the Green New Deal. She's a lovely little girl from New York. Her name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think she's Ocasio-Cortez. And I said, AOC, I think we need to have a debate about your legislation, about policy, about the Green New Deal, because the American people deserve to hear about it. You see, I'm a business owner, and I've created jobs. I've built the economy. But your little bit of policy is going to destroy jobs and destroy our economy. And it's socialism, and it's against everything that America was built on. So we should debate your policy in front of the American people, because they deserve to hear both sides before you Democrats shove it down their throats. Yeah. Even her supporters think it's a good idea. They think she's going to crush me. What do you all think? Yeah, I don't think so either. So she doesn't want to debate me anymore. And because I kept asking her about it, and I asked her about it because that's what we're supposed to do as members of Congress. We're supposed to debate legislation, right? Well, she's so disturbed that she considered taking out a order against me, a restraining order. Can you imagine that? Now remember, this is the same little girl from New York who has supported Antifa and BLM riots that have attacked American cities, burned them, attacked police officers night after night. She even put out a little guide on her Instagram of how to go protest. Yeah, a little guide recommending you keep your hair pulled back, making sure that, you know, that you're all ready. You got a snack and water bottles, probably advising people to take cans of soup. They don't give them to the hungry, you guys. They throw them at police officers. The Democrats are an interesting crowd, though. They really are. It's the house of hypocrites. And it's run by the queen of the house of hypocrites, Nancy Pelosi. Yep. I have a new name for her. I call her Speaker Maskhole. It fits. It's appropriate. So, you know, Joe Biden suddenly declared that COVID was over, and the CDC went along with it, and you don't have to wear your mask anymore. And so I went back to Washington, and I was really excited. I was like, yeah, I believe in people wearing a mask if they want to. I believe in people getting a vaccine if they want to. But I'm really tired of wearing this mask when I don't need to. Boy, we have a lot of smart people in the room. You must have something called common sense. So I decided to stop wearing my mask on the House floor, and apparently that's frowned upon. As a matter of fact, I received a couple of letters about that, and I've got a fine for $500 and another fine for $2,500, which is a heck of a lot of money. And I don't have to pay it, and I'm not going to. Do you think I should have to pay that? They aren't going to take my paycheck for standing up for kids every single day across this country who are forced to wear a mask when they go to school, when they're in the lowest risk group and they're not spreading COVID around. As a matter of fact, they're kids in school and they shouldn't be forced to wear a mask. And you know what else? Athletes, high school athletes and kids shouldn't be forced to wear masks when they're competing in their sports. We shouldn't be seeing videos of track athletes running outside with a mask on, deprived of oxygen when they're running as hard as they can so that they fall down and land face first on the finish line. That's an outrage. So I won't be wearing my mask anymore on the House floor. I don't care how many letters and fines they tell me they're going to give me. I'm not doing it. Because I'm an American woman and I'm free. And all of you are Americans and you're free. And if I can't stand up and fight these microaggressions in the people's house, then how is anyone supposed to be able to fight it at home? We are not going to be treated like second-class citizens because we don't want to wear a mask anymore and because we refuse to get a vaccine that's not even approved by the FDA. And there is no government agency, there is no business, there is no school, there is no group that can force you to get a vaccine that you don't want to get. That's wrong. Yeah, my body, my choice. And you know what? It's a great statement. I'll tell you why it's a great statement. My body, my choice. Because when it comes to abortion, that baby in a woman's womb is not her body. That's a body that belongs to another human being. It should never be murdered in her mother's womb. Over 62 million people in this country. Yeah, those were American citizens that were murdered in their mother's womb. It's a horrible lie. A lie sold to women that in order to achieve, you have to kill that baby. That is the worst evil, most horrific evil that is happening in our land. We need to end abortion completely. End it. Well, back to Speaker Maskhole. I want to tell you guys a little story. See, she doesn't really care about COVID either. Nope, she doesn't care. She don't care. It's just a political tool for power. I'll tell you how I know that. I've watched it. January 3rd, when I was sworn into the 117th Congress, the same Congress that declared that there's no such thing as gender anymore. Yeah, what a joke. Well, anyways, Nancy Pelosi was a little short on votes. You see, she needed everybody to show up to vote for her so she could be Speaker of the House. A lot of these Democrats hadn't even been there for months because they were sitting at home voting by proxy with about 6 masks on their face inside doing Zoom calls. You can't even make it up. Yeah, so she told all her people, you better show up in Washington on January 3rd because I need you here to vote for me. Well, guess what? There were a few members that had tested positive for COVID. She brought them in anyways. Yeah, they were there. They were there. They were there. So imagine that. If COVID is such a terrible thing that Nancy Pelosi thinks that we're all like a big petri dish in here spreading it all around. And she thinks that people that are unvaccinated and unmasked are like the unclean of the civilization. That's how they treat us, right? Yeah, but she brought in her COVID positive Democrat members so they could vote for her for Speaker of the House. Well, then she even went a step further because some of them were complaining about that. So she ordered a box built inside the chamber. It's up on the top, on the upper level. So they could sit in there and vote. But I don't know about you guys. We aren't really living in Star Trek, and they don't just beam these people in the COVID box, right? No, they got to walk around to get in there, don't they? As a matter of fact, they got to fly or drive into Washington, D.C., which meant they were around people. They had to walk into the Capitol building. Oh, God forbid, bringing in COVID. Yeah. They had to come in there, and that's how they got in there to vote for her for Speaker. So do you think Nancy Pelosi really cares about COVID? No. She doesn't care one bit. She just cares about power. So the Jihad Squad, which is supporting terrorism, do you think Nancy Pelosi has denounced them? No, she didn't denounce them. We have Eric Swalwell, who slept with a Chinese spy. Yeah. He sits on the Intel Committee. Did old Speaker Maskell denounce Eric Swalwell? No, she did not. She made sure he stayed on the Intel Committee. She's got old Ilhan Omar. It's rumored that she married her brother. At least that's what I heard. Did y'all hear that same rumor? Yeah. She's very loyal not to America. But Nancy Pelosi defends her. She would never denounce her. As a matter of fact, she wouldn't denounce Maxine Waters, who flew across state lines and went in and incited a riot in an area that was having riots every single night. Let me ask you something. When Maxine Waters walks in and tells them after 11 o'clock at night, which is past curfew, by the way, to get more confrontational, what's more confrontational than the violence in the streets, burning cities, looting businesses, attacking police officers, attacking property? What is more confrontational than that? So I introduced a resolution to expel Maxine Waters. Yeah. But Nancy Pelosi did not denounce her. Oh no, she knows how to hold everybody in really tight so that they can ram through the Democrat socialist agenda that's going to tear down our country. That's what she's doing. Unfortunately, I haven't seen that happening so well in our Republican conference. Unfortunately. We had 10 Republicans vote to impeach Donald J. Trump, our president. We shouldn't have had one. But that's how it seems to work. You see, here's what we have to do. Republicans have to take back the majority in 2022. It's critical that we do that. But when we take back the majority, we have to take it back with a Republican conference that understands conservative American values. What do you all think? And we have to take back the House with leadership that cares about conservative American values, which are America First policies. So that's what we're going to be working on, and we're going to be working very hard on doing that. So this is what Matt Gaetz and I are doing. We're traveling the country with these America First rallies, and I'll tell you why they're so important. We know that America First policies are the only way to save America and stop socialism. And it's our job to do it. It's our generation's turn. And the reason why we have to do it is because we have great threats to our future. We have China, where it is now mostly known that the COVID virus came out of a lab. But Facebook banned you if you said that before, which is probably a bunch of you in this room. We have an Iran that would love nothing more than to have nuclear weapons. We have a Middle East that doesn't care about Israel's right to defend itself. As a matter of fact, they'd like to yank those people right out of their land and hand it to the Palestinian Authority. We have a world that wants to invade America and is currently doing that along our southern border. And then they want the American taxpayers to pay for their housing and their food, stimulus checks, whatever, while they also work a job and send money back home, tax-free. You see, these America First policies are the policies that President Trump put in place over the last 4 years. America First policies are the policies that we know that we can trust to save our country and build our children's future. These are the policies that we're going to take all over the country and make sure that the Republican Party understands that this is what the American people want, because it's people over politicians. And the only way we're going to do that is with America first. That's right. That's right. Yep. See, you guys all understand it. It makes sense to you because you're Americans and you love our country. Let me tell you what we're about to do. I'm going to walk off this stage and I'm going to go get my friend, Congressman Matt Gaetz. We're going to come back out here and we're going to have a little bit of stories to tell, and we're going to talk a little bit about some interesting things that go on that you don't hear about on CNN, because CNN is really too interested in training their viewers to hate me. How many of y'all watch CNN? Yeah, they lost like 70% of their viewers or something like that. Apparently, people don't want to watch hate all day long and propaganda news. Yeah, figure that one out. Maybe y'all should interview with them afterwards. Tell them what you think. But be nice. Remember, we're not the party of violence. We want them to leave and say, you know, they were nice to me there. Nobody hurt me. They might lie, though. I don't know. All right. Thank you guys for coming. We're going to be back in a few minutes. God bless you guys. I love you. I love my district. Georgia 14 is the best. See you back in a few minutes.